Hi, my name's Kurt Bowman and welcome to Yoga for Old Guys. This is my third video of 2021 and I hope you're involved and enjoying the series. Today we're going to do more of a traditional flow but with some emphasis on the upper body. So if you would, please start in a comfortable seated position. In doing so, always ground your sits bones in as much as you're able. Let the shoulders fall away from the ears. Take this time not to round our shoulders and sit up straight and let the head grow long, the neck grow long above our shoulders. Take a moment to breathe in through your nostrils. Exhale. Let your mind come into the workout and nothing else. Another breath in. Extend your left leg out in front of you. Bring your right knee up, right leg over, or right foot over your left leg. Sitting tall. Come into a twist to your right. Go ahead and use your left arm, left elbow to push that right knee over to the left. Drop your back shoulder. Always twisting with your chest, torso. Looking over the right shoulder, but don't twist with your eyes. Bring your right leg out in front of you. Left knee in and up, and twist to your left. Same thing. Always twisting with your torso. Use your right arm. Drag that left knee over. Let it open up. Breathe into it. Come back to center. Bring your legs in comfortably. Sitting up straight again, shoulders back and down. Bring your fingers to the back part of your head. But again, just let them touch your head. Don't pull on your neck. Bring your elbows wide. Open them up as much as you're able. Can you feel the shoulder blades opening? Now squeeze your elbows together. Go ahead and drop your chin a little bit. Let your shoulders and back open up. That'll be important in a minute. Come back up, elbows wide and open. Squeeze them together again. Let your neck and head drop a little bit. Open them up wide. This time, keep your chin up and your head up and just squeeze your elbows together. Good. Bring your hands back down with your legs crossed. Twist again to the right. Sitting tall. Now switch back over to the other side. Twisting to the left. Come back to center. Roll over up to your hands and knees. Curl your toes down and push into downward facing dog.
Pedal out your feet and ankles. Bring your right leg up to three-legged dog and bring your knee forward. We're going to use pigeon. Again, today is a warm-up. Bring your knee up. Again, you can bring in this case, your right shin as far forward as you like, but again, the purpose here is not to put torsion on your knee, but to open up that right hip. Push your left toes back a little further. Push them away. Stay up high for right now. Let the torso, or just let your glutes drop straight down, your pelvis drop straight down. And now, keeping it down, just roll forward onto your elbows or your forearms, or if possible, bring your forehead to the ground. Again, don't roll your right hip in or out. Let it go straight down. Relax the pelvis. Walk your fingers back up, sitting high. Curl those left toes back down and come into right leg, three-legged dog, and shake out that right leg. Come down into downward facing dog, left leg, three-legged dog, and bring the left knee forward into pigeon. Push the right toes, right leg farther back. Right now, just take a breath in and let your pelvis drop straight down. Just relax as much as you're able. And roll forward. Forehead down, forearms as low as you're able to go. The whole time just focusing on that pelvis relaxing. Come back up. Push back into downward facing dog, pedaling the feet out. Drop your knees to the floor and come down onto your mat, all the way down onto your stomach. You need a little room in front of you. We've done this before some time ago. Put your forehead down on your mat, arms down, toes are down, flat, toes pointed backwards. Everything's on the ground with your pinkies on the floor and your thumbs pointed straight up. Now, start by pushing your pinkies down only, engaging your shoulder blades. Don't lift your shoulder blades, but engage them by pushing your pinkies straight down on the floor. Release. One more time. Push your pinkies down. Forehead, everything's still on the ground, except your shoulder blades are engaged because you're pushing your pinkies. And release. Take a breath through your nostrils. Push down. Shoulder blades engaged. Release. Now let's add to that sequence. Push down with your pinkies. Shoulder blades are engaged. Push down with your toes to lift your knees. So your toes and your pinkies are pushing down. Release. Ready? Inhale in. Push pinkies and toes. Knees are up. Shoulder blades engaged. Release. Last time. Pinkies and toes. Push. Release. Bring your arms back alongside just parallel alongside your body. Forehead still on the ground, except now your index fingers are pushing down and your pinkies are up in the air, or they're on top. Ready, push down with your index, engaging your shoulders, push down with your toes. Now raise your toes and your knees off the ground. Release. Inhale in, exhale. Push with your index fingers, raise your toes and knees. Release. Last time, index, push down, toes, knees off the ground. Release. Bring your arms out in front of you, pinkies down. Ready. Come into cactus arms. Toes are off the ground, knees are off the ground, chest is off the ground, and forehead is off the ground. Everything is up. Raise your elbows a little higher. Bring your arms back to Superman alongside you, back behind you. Everything's still off the ground. Bring them out to a T alongside. Straight out airplane. Everything's off the ground. Arms are out in front of you, off the ground, and everything's down on the ground. Pinkies back alongside you, or index fingers, I should say, back alongside you. Ready? Superman arms, everything's up. Toes, knees, everything's off the ground. Cactus arms. Raise your elbows. Arms out to a T, airplane straight out alongside of you, or straight out perpendicular. Straight out over your head and down. Last time. Everything's up in cactus. Arms are in cactus. Everything's off the ground. Bring them back. Superman alongside you. Airplane out to a T. Everything's up. Raise your feet again. Arms out straight in front of you. Everything's off the ground. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come down. Forehead's on the ground. Take a couple breaths. And come up to all fours. Push back into down dog. Pedal those feet out again. Take a few breaths in down dog. Walk your fingers back to your feet at the back of your mat. Let your head, neck, arms just hang. Roll up one vertebrae at a time and come into mountain at the back of your mat. Turn your palms forward. Make sure your shoulders are back and down. Simply now fold forward again. Let your head and neck hang. Walk your fingers out to high plank. Push your chest or push your shoulder blades away from the floor. Make sure that your glutes, legs are engaged. Lower down to 4 inches from the ground. Push up. Always make sure your elbows are alongside of your body. Lower down. Are you straight? Is your neck straight? Back. Push up. Lower down. Push up. Downward facing dog. And walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Let your head hang. Arms. Grab your elbows. Gently sway side to side. Let your arms hang. Go ahead and dangle them a little bit. Move them around. And roll up to mountain pose. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. We're going to prepare for a modified vinyasa flow. I'm going to throw in a couple things as we go. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted is the back straight. Exhale into high plank, hold on. Lower down to 4 inches. Push up. Lower down to 4 inches. Push up. Lower down. Curl your toes under. Come into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Walk your feet up to the front of your mat. Come into an intentional forward fold, making sure your head and neck are hanging. Roll up to mountain pose. We're going to add to that sequence. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, high plank and hold. Check your form. Lower to 4 inches. Push up. Lower to 4 inches. Push up. Lower down. Curl your toes. Come into upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Bring your left foot forward. Drop your back foot, come into warrior two. Check your alignment. Can you see your front two toes? Drop your back arm, reverse warrior. Warrior two. Left elbow, left knee. Come into side angle. Check your back, neck. Are they flat against that proverbial wall? Come up into warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Pivot forward. Come up, down into triangle. Warrior two. Hands to the mat. Come into high plank. Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Halfway lifted. Forward fold. And roll up to mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, come into high plank. Lower to 4 inches. Push up. Lower 4 inches. Push up. Lower. Push up. Whoop. Lower. Curl your toes back. Come into upward facing dog. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right foot forward. Drop your back. Come into warrior two. Check your alignment. Drop your back hand, reverse warrior, right elbow, right knee, come into side angle. Warrior two, straighten the front leg, pivot, come into triangle. If you are curling forward with your chest down to the ground, you are down too low. Raise your right hand in a little bit, come up higher. Warrior two. Hands down to the mat. Come into high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Look between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. And roll into mountain pose. Take a breath. One more time in that sequence. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, come into high plank. Lower to 4 inches. Push up. Lower to 4 inches. Up. Lower to 4 inches. Curl your toes. Come up into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Left leg, three-legged dog. Left foot forward, drop the back, come into warrior two. Drop your back hand, stretch out that left side. Warrior two. Left elbow, left knee, come into side angle. Straighten your front leg, pivot forward, come into triangle. Warrior two. To the mat, high plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Look between your hands and hop or step to the front of your mat. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale, forward fold. And come into mountain. Sequence. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lifted. Exhale into high plank. Lower to 4 inches. Push up. Lower. Push up. Lower to 4 inches. Curl your toes. Come into upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg, three-legged dog. Bring your right foot forward, drop your back foot and come into warrior two. Drop your back hand, reverse warrior. Warrior two. Right knee or right elbow, right knee. Come into side angle. Check your form. Warrior two. Straighten your right leg. Pivot forward and come into triangle. Come into warrior two. Pivot hands to the mat. High plank. Lower into chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. This time walk your feet forward to a forward fold. Raise, roll one vertebrae up at a time and come into mountain. Take a breath. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, come into chair. Lower the glutes just a little bit more. Ground into the left foot and step back with your right leg. You are now into a crescent. Drop your right hand, left arm overhead. You're in a crescent twist. Come back into crescent. Step up to chair. Ground into the right foot. Step back with your left leg. Crescent lunge. Drop your left hand to the floor. Right arm above. Crescent twist to the right. Both hands to the mat. Come back up into crescent. and step up into chair. Come into mountain. One more time. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale into chair. Right leg straight back into crescent lunge. Right hand to the mat. Left arm overhead. Crescent twist to the left. Hands to the mat. Arms up back into crescent. Step up into chair. Ground into your right foot. Step back with your left leg into crescent. Left hand to the mat. Right hand above. Crescent twist to the right. Hands to the mat. Come back into crescent. And step up into chair. Back to mountain. Breathe in through the nostrils. Exhale. Breathe in again. Exhale. Hands to the waist. Step out with your right leg. Pivoting forward at the waist. Come into a wide-legged forward fold. Let your hands, fingers walk over to the left. Back to center. Over to the right. Back to center. Hands to the waist. Come up into wide leg standing. And bring your feet back to center. Okay. Let's ground into our left foot first. Come into all four corners. Kickstand the right foot. You can kickstand it with your heel, just leaving it right on the floor. We're going to do tree. Excuse me. You can bring your foot up flat against your shin or up against your left thigh, but not against your knee. Right knee is perpendicular. If you are able, bring your hands, arms straight up over your head or at heart center. Find a focal point that isn't moving and focus. The whole idea of being in balance on one foot. You're drawing upon muscles in your entire body every time you balance on one leg and come into standing. Walk it out. Ground into your right foot or opposite foot you were just on. Kickstand the left foot. Bring it to flat against your shin or thigh, but not against your knee. If you're able, come into arms overhead. Find that focal point. My right is seemingly worse than normal today. You're going to fall out of it once in a while. It's okay. Work it and come into standing. Switch back grounding into your left foot. Bring your right thigh over your left thigh. You're ground into your left foot, and your right arm under your left arm. Now ideally you would be able to clasp your hands together like this, but those of us in the tight shoulder club, you do the best you can. Bring your right arm underneath your left, right leg over your left, and start to come into a chair. This is eagle. Find that focal point. Can you come down a little lower? And come into stand. Walk it out. Ground into the right foot or the opposite. Left thigh over right. Left arm under right. And start to sink into chair. Find that focal point. And come into standing, both feet on the ground. Let's come down to the mat, into all fours, tabletop. Always remember shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. Point your right leg back, heel up. Legs straight out, and if it's in your practice, bring your right arm out into bird dog. Pushing your right fingers as far away from your left heel as you're able. Keep your head and neck straight. Pivot out to the side with your left leg and right arm. Bring them out. Back to center, square it up, raise everything a little bit. Now, on my count, bring your right elbow to your left knee. Ready? 1, back, 2, back, 3, 4, back, 5, back, 6, back, 7, back, 8, back, 9, back, 10, back, spring it out straight, push them apart, and come down to tabletop. Take a breath. Right leg out, right heel pointed out, left arm out in front of you. Push them apart, square everything up. Out to the side. Back to center. Now, left elbow, right knee on my count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, bring it out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, point them, get square again, point it out, and come into all fours. It's a good little workout. Come into a seated position. We're going to roll back to our backs, knees up. Now we're going to do something, I don't know if we've done this one before. It's called legs up the wall. For some, you might want to start with 1 and then switch. But if you're able, bring your legs straight up into a pike position. Pretend they are up a wall. Head, shoulders down, arms on the ground. And bring your feet down. Take a breath. Come back up. Legs up the wall. Take a breath. Bring them down. Third time. Up the wall. And bring your feet down. Now with your knees in the air, shoulders down, make sure you now roll your shoulders or your shoulder blades underneath you. Get them underneath you. Knees up, bring your heels as close to your glutes as you're able, and come into bridge by raising your hips. Now remember, we've talked about this. When you're in bridge, you got to be able to move your neck and your head. If you are on your neck, if you're bridging on your cervical spine, don't. Your shoulders should be bearing the brunt of this, and come back down. Readjust your blades if you need to. Come back into bridge. Check your neck. And down. Take a breath. One last time into bridge. Raise your hips. Check your neck. And down. Bring your knees in. Grab the bottoms of your feet and come into what's called happy baby. Start by trying to pull your knees into your armpits, but then eventually get them as long in the air and wide as you're able. Stretch out that back. Pull your knees tight into your chest. Bring your head and neck, curl up into a ball. Massage that lower back. Roll around a little bit. And stretch out your legs and arms into final Shavasana. Bring your heels wide across the mat. Arms down, palms up. Allow everything to relax. Release your breathing. Start to wake up your toes and fingers. Roll over to your right side. Come back into a comfortable seated position. You guys made me break a sweat today. Wrists down on your knees, sitting up tall. One last cleansing breath in. Release it. Hands to heart center. Chin and gratitude to yourself for taking the time to practice. And to you I say namaste. Thank you for being a part of the practice. I hope you found value in this. If you have, go ahead and hit like and share. Tell your friends about it, because I'm guessing if you find value in yoga, they will as well. Hope to see you next time. Thanks again. Bye-bye.